Hey everybody, what's going on? It's me, Teddy. I am here back working on another one of my programming assignments for object-oriented programming. This week we are tasked with making a Java program or code for Java that interacts and connects to a database, performing such functions as adding fields, deleting fields, etc., etc. Um, so I did go through the steps earlier in order to set up the tools that were required for me to do this, the extensions for the program. So I did in that process kind of already create a little bit of the table that we would be working on. Specifically, the primary key is the ID. I set it to an integer. That's why you see the numbers here. And then we have four students. These students are myself, my wife, and two of my four cats. So Finnegan and Elphaba, or Finn and Elfie. Um, these are some test grades that we took um, that we will parse through and query later. So we do have set things for that. We will modify those later. In some of my code, I will update as we go along. There are other names in there that I was originally going to go with, but I kind of walked them back. Alice, Charlie, David, Eve, A, B, C, D, like that kind of stuff seemed kind of generic, so I ended up going with my own names after a while. So I had to walk back my code after I had already put in all those names. Um, Sounds dumb, but I don't know. I like putting my own personal touch on things. Anyways, to go over a little bit of what this program will do, the inputs will be the student IDs, names, and grades. They will be input to the database table. That is what this is right here, as shown. Bear with me here in SQL Helper. This is that table. So it has already been created. The inputs have already been put in. And it is showing in here. Now what we're going to do is we are going to modify some of that information. I do have the second part of that code set up separately, but since I was ahead in the process, I had to walk back a huge portion of what I was doing. So I have the second portion of the code that I did have in fact work properly saved here in a master file, so I can go in a second here and get it all working. But the first portion of my part, the video of it bugged out and I lost it, so I had to redo it, and here we are. Anyways, so as we can see here, we have myself, my wife, Finn. These are test scores, right? Now the first one, what it will do, the output, what it will originally it does is it prints all of the students, their scores, their IDs in a list for you to view. From there, it will display a message. Once we go in and go to add the two rows, specifically we'll be adding in two more of my cats, as you can see here. Little Miss and Buddy have taken the test as well, and these are their scores that they've given. I'm going to change this because I noticed that when I set it to something else, I wanted to double back to this. Bear with me here. Every code is a work in progress. Every code is a living document, so I'm going to change that as a tweak on the fly. But as you can see here, this is the section of the code where it adds the two rows, so it will be adding Little Miss and Buddy. And then it will print out the message, two new rows have added successfully. If there's any SQL error, there is a catch here for that, so we can see, hey, we had trouble adding these rows. And then it will give you the message. Next, we're going to work through the process of deleting two rows. Unfortunately, Finn and Elphaba were found to be cheating off of each other, so their tests are null and void. But we did bring in two students, Lil Miss and Buddy, who did not cheat on the test. So theirs will count. Same as before. Once these two have been removed from it, it should say 2 rows have been deleted successfully. From there, if there's any errors, it should catch it similar up here to when we added them. Any SQL exceptions will pop up, or it will display in the output. Next, we've got the print table model. As set before, as set by the rules, it's the default one, and what it's supposed to be. There's some print rows on how it prints out, stuff like that. I put those in there because I'm kind of, I don't want to say below OCD, but I'm kind of compulsive in the way that, like, if text isn't lined up or if it's slight pixel off, it bugs me. So I just put those in there to try to line it up more. I did have some issues with Little Miss's name and her test score being like a tabbed full apart. So if that shows up, hopefully this will have fixed it. This section here is where it's going to search students. For here, we specifically put in the, up here, we put in the minimum grade is 80. So when the query gets down to this portion here, it should only query and show the results of those who got higher than an 80. As we can see here from these values, by the time it gets to that point, Buddy should be excluded from this list, but Little Miss might be there still. Also, we will be updating values. These are names I have to switch out on the fly. So let's go ahead and update some things. Let's say, my bad. Buddy. Buddy got a new grade because he was graded on a curve. So now, originally before, we set Buddy, where is he? Apologies. 78.5. Now we have it set for 91. This is what it should update to once it runs. And we're going to update Buddy's name to Buddy Boy. And we're going to change it. We're going to name Buddy. And then we're going to update grade for Little Miss. We're going to tone down her grade a little bit. She got a 98, so we're just going to tone it down to a 95.0. And we're going to type in Little Miss's name here. Luckily, in our case, it's already auto-populating it. Fantastic. That's usually a good sign. Once that's done, updating the values of the tests and printing that the values have updated successfully, it should pull all of the students, print them in a 2D array as required. So let's go ahead and see if we can get that result popped off here. Let it compile and run. And we'll start from our way up here. As you can see here, it successfully added Buddy and Little Miss. And then from here, you can clearly see Finnegan and Elphaba are missing. Next, we're going to search who has above an 80%. As you can see, these three, myself, my wife, and Little Miss, all scored above an 80. So we are displayed here. This is the query that was sent to the database from the Java code to pull that information back in a conditional formatting. Sometimes, to flex a little bit of my expertise, this can be done in Excel. It doesn't always have to be done in a table database created this way. There are methods and queries you can use, cross-compatibility, I guess, to do the same kind of thing, but pulling it from an Excel table or an Access table, because Access and Excel, since they're both Microsoft products, they are referential of each other, specifically in their compatibility to work with each other. Anyways, to get off my little soapbox there on my skills, as we can see here, And the final one here, it is the 2D array, and it's printed out properly. Now this is what I was talking about earlier, because their names are over a certain character size and there's a space in it. That's that little weird gap I tried to fix earlier. But it didn't quite fix it, but at least it made it more uniform. These two digits match up, these two digits match up. That's all that matters for me. That's better than what it looked like earlier, because the way it looked like, it was all three codes, or like these three here would be like on this side, and then Little Miss was all the way over here for some reason. But now at least Buddy Boy's over there, it's somewhat symmetrical, and I can get off my horse about that. But yeah, so those are the brief overviews of what each thing does. Quick output checker. We wanted our code to see the results in a 2D array list. And we wanted them to store those in the object. So let's go ahead and see we see from the command line here that it implemented it and put it in. But let's go ahead and see if SQL helper sees the new updates. If you hear a big noise in the background, it's currently raining right now, so I do apologize about the background noise. But as you can see here, since the data has been changed and the tables have been updated, it is now reflecting in that. I do believe at this point in time I've fulfilled the requirements of this assignment. Thank you guys for so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great night. Bye.